Well, hello, hello. This is John S. Rhodes. I'm the guy there on the left-hand side, black and white, smiling. And next to me, of course, is Jay Boyer, Captain Intensity himself. And he's in color, but he's very intense, as he usually is when he's working on these kinds of projects. Now, together, Jay and I have created over 250 products. We've published over 120 books, many of those children's books, and we've hosted more than 250 marketing, sales, education, and training workshops just like this one. Now, Jay and I operate JJ Fast, and we're dedicated to helping authors, experts, consultants, entrepreneurs just like you share their unique passions, make more money, and as Steve Jobs would say, put a dent in the universe. Now, I am really excited about this. We're going to dive right in. This is original training from John S. Rhodes and Jay Boyer. You get an opportunity to see just how big this is and how cool this is. You also get to see a live demo. Jay's going to walk through some critical material to make this work for you. Title here, of course, says it all. How I, and that's really Jay Boyer speaking there, how I wrote a #1 best-selling children's book with my 8-year-old son in my pajamas. So Jay is going to walk through that for you. But first, we're going to dive into some of the data, into some of the market research, and just make sure you understand how big of an opportunity this is. I will say this. Let me actually make sure that you see the screen change over. If there's any sort of issue, let me know. You'll see that there is a sponsor. Our sponsor is us. There's an opportunity here that's really big at the end. If you want to work with us more on this, if you need more help, we will be providing that to you. But for the next 45 minutes to an hour, you're going to get nothing but rock solid training, okay? Now let's dig in. Get your fingers on the keyboard. Get ready to type. Why? This is so important. This is so important. Let's have a good time here together, by the way. Let's have a really good time. Why are children's books so awesome for you? Why are they so awesome? You heard Jay say, wow, you know, if I sound a little bit more excited than usual, well, it's because he is. I am really excited about this. But why are they awesome for you? They're awesome for Jay and I. We make money. We love doing them. They're fun. That's all true. Why are they awesome for you, though? Why are they awesome for you? This is about you. Why are they awesome? Well, Jay and I put our heads together. This list was, I love your answers, by the way. Every answer coming in is just.
It is scrolling. The questions. It's just scrolling. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for your interactivity. I really appreciate it.
Really great. Well, let me just go through a few of the reasons. Like, these things never go out of style. There'll never be a time. There will never be a time where children's books aren't hot. Really hot. Children's books rock. It's a whole category that's never going to go away. There'll always be kids books. They're always in demand, that means. Another thing is a lot of children's books are bought on impulse. Therefore, they're lucrative, right? Pricing is really cool with them, a lot of fun there. They're virtual babysitters. You know, that the parents can feel really good about giving a book to their kids and say, here, why don't you do this? Read this amazing book. And it's a children's book, so they're going to have a good time with it. They're going to learn from it. They're fun to write. They're easy to serialize. You know, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Many successful children's books, they just earn a ton of money, not because of one book, because there's like a 5-part series or a 10-part series. They're very easy to write. Everyone's nailing that one. They're very easy to write. And a big part of that is because of the illustrations and pictures that are almost always in kids' books. They require, therefore, less text. You don't have to write as much. You know how people talk about, hey, when you're going to write a book, make sure it's, you know, at the 8th grade level. We're talking maybe 2nd or 3rd grade level in many cases for these books. Colors, fun, pictures, photos, the covers are easy, the images are fun, it's easy to score a bestseller, you can create merchandise, they're easy to be compiled, you know, you can just do a ton of stuff. There are so many reasons why children's books are so cool. Let me throw one last thing out there. The principles, the ideas, the systems that you learn about today, they can be applied in many ways outside of children's books. We're going to focus on children's books, but there's a ton you can do outside of children's books where all of the principles apply. So children's books, hooray! You know, this is a good time, and it's very lucrative for all the reasons we just went through and all the reasons that you typed in as well. More cash. Adults like to read them. Grandparents, evergreen, babysitter. This is hot stuff. We've got 3 big promises for you. One of the things that Jay and I sort of pride ourselves on is making promises that are sort of outrageous or almost impossible, and then fulfilling and delivering on those promises. Now, number 1 is we're going to reveal the truth about children's books. We're going to reveal the truth in terms of money and marketing and what it means to you in your life and growing a business as an author and publisher. We're going to show you the exact reasons. We're going to tell you, show you, and explain in exact detail. We're going to provide you with the 4 best. There are many different types of children's books and templates and so on. We're going to give you the 4 best children's book money templates, the ones that are not only fun and cool to put together, that you have a good time doing, but they actually also are going to make you the most money. You can use these today. And number 3, show you how to write a children's book in just 7 days using a very easy to use and proven system. So this is a really good time. It's about having fun, maybe getting the whole family involved, doing it by yourself if you feel like it, but there's just a ton of stuff here, lots of money, and fast and lucrative. Just a really good time. But the question is, and this should be a question you should ask. Don't just take our word for it. You should really ask this question. Is this smoking hot, or is this, cold? Is it old man winter? In other words, is there really an opportunity here? So this is data that we have to look at together to know that this is smoking hot and not old man winter. This is recent material, recent data, okay, November 16th, 2012, so less than a month or so ago. Parents are primed to buy devices and ebooks for their kids this holiday season. Kindle devices are hot. Tablets are hot. Okay, specifically, let me read this for you. Nearly 40% of parents with children aged 2 to 13 who read ebooks plan to purchase a new e-reading device. So they're buying devices. And let me ask you a question. So please tell me I want to know what you think here. Very important. When someone buys a new tablet, when they buy a new Kindle, okay, even when they buy a new iPhone, it can even be a smartphone, when they buy a new tablet or a new e-reader, what's the number 1 thing they do? So if someone bought you a Kindle, or if you bought a Kindle for someone else, what's the very, very, very first thing that person's going to do? It could be you, it could be someone else. What's going to happen? Are they going to sit there and open the box and fire it up and sit there and just look at it? Sure, they're going to hit some buttons and kind of play around, but what's the number 1 thing they're going to do? The number 1 thing they're going to do? Absolutely, they need to fill that puppy up. They need to get content on that book. I mean, it doesn't come to life until content shows up on the screen in living color. Until books are on an e-reading device, it doesn't come to life. So parents are going to immediately, grandparents are going to immediately, you are going to immediately put content on there. That means buying books. It means let's go shopping. And they're going to load these puppies up because we're not talking about, $20 books. We're talking about, 99 cents, $2.99, even $9.99 is still very, very cheap. These things are going to get loaded up. Again, 40% of parents with kids ages 2 to 13 are buying e-readers this holiday season. That's incredible, ridiculous growth here. Okay, now you might be saying, well, maybe they're just buying devices where they can't read Kindle books. I get that. So of the parents who are buying these e-readers, what kind of access do they have to the Amazon store? Now you've got the Amazon Kindle, iPad mini, iPad. There is the LeapPad, and there are other sort of proprietary children's e-readers. There's the Nook and so on. How about access to the Amazon library of books? Because your book, ultimately, we want it to show up on Amazon as a Kindle book. Over 78%, this is a very conservative number, 78% of all those devices that are being bought, 78% of all those devices sold can display and very likely will display Kindle books. And by the way, I'm not even talking about smartphones or phones that have the ability that, like the Kindle app. I've got the Kindle app on my phone, and I actually read quite a few books right on my smartphone, not on my Kindle, okay, or on my iPad using the Kindle app. 78%, so virtually all. 4/5, okay. How about the amount of money? Let's talk about the growth in the market. So we've talked about the devices, what people are buying. We've talked about people filling them up. Just how fast and furious is this? Children's ebook revenue grew the most in terms of percent growth, up 475% in 2012. We're talking about millions of dollars. That 475% growth means millions of dollars in royalties that's up for grabs. If people are buying books, they need books in the marketplace. They need to go there and shop and find those books. They're buying those books, and insane growth. And this is really that means. This really means you're getting into the market, and you're getting into this niche. Basically, it's at the right. You're in the right place at the right time. So insane growth, millions of dollars up for grabs, and it's just opening up. I mean, seriously, this thing is just popping wide. All right, so we know that children's books spell opportunity. That gives you the market data, lets you know just how much this is exploding, and you can feel really good about jumping into children's books right now. Now, you might be saying, okay, John, it kind of sounds like or seems like maybe there's only a few people doing this. Maybe only a few people are getting into this, and I'm not confident yet. And confidence is important here. When we talk about publishing and being an author, confidence is of the utmost importance here. But we're not the only ones making this work. And I want to let you know that there are also some big names just getting into this. How big is this? Well, let me ask you a question. Maybe you've seen this before, maybe you haven't. This will give me an indication, it'll give us all an indication of just how aware or unaware you are of how big this market is and the players in the market. So, middle school, get me out of here. By the way, there are many different formats of this book, okay? Lots of customer reviews and so forth. Do you know who the author of this book is? Middle school, get me out of here. Do you know who wrote this book? Now, there's some co-authors there. We'll talk about co-authors later on. Co-authors are pretty cool. Okay, there's an illustrator there, but do you know who this is by anyone? Yeah, I mean, do you have any idea who the author is? By the way, one of the names there is Chris Tebbets, right? He's one of the co-authors. Here's the thing that's crazy. Have you ever heard of James Patterson? Have you ever heard of James Patterson? Alex Cross, I think that's a movie that just came out recently, The 11th Hour. He's published ridiculous numbers of books. James Patterson, and yes, it is that James Patterson. He's like, you know what? He's a money-making machine. He's like, I'm going to make some money. I'm going to publish a book. By the way, one of the secrets that I'll talk about here in just a short while is that he has a co-author, Chris Tebbets, right? So do you think James Patterson did this all by himself? No way. He partners with people all the time, and that is a form of outsourcing that we're going to talk about in just a moment. But yes, that James Patterson. Very, very cool. So the big dogs are starting to take notice, and they are jumping in, but this is still just getting started. It is not too late. This is truly just getting off the ground. Okay, now, I want to prove this to you. It's important that you understand and you see the proof. We talked about, Jay Boyer's book, our books and our business, the JJ Fast business. We talked about James Patterson. Like, wow. Is it too big? Is it too difficult? Or can anyone do it? Well, the answer is that anyone can do it. Now, this is Rachel Yu, okay? This is Rachel Yu. We found quite a few people, actually, that fit her profile, kind of like Rachel. So it's like, hey, let's profile Rachel here. She is a high school student. So she's, I think, 15 or 16. She's probably 16. Yeah, 16. Okay, she's probably 15 or 16 at this point. Pretty young. She's a full-time student, so she's a part-time author. She sells thousands of children's ebooks through the Kindle store every single month. Okay, and they're all children's books. She's published 15 books, and they're all children's books. Really, really cool stuff. Now, here's the thing. Is she making any money? Well, James Patterson is, because it's James Patterson. We're making money, and we'll show you some of that later if you want to see it. But how about Rachel? What about Rachel? Okay, let's take a look at the numbers right here, right now, and see what this is all about. Okay? If you take her books, now this is not all of her books. This is only 11 out of the 15 books that we found specific for Rachel in our tool, in the ebook Niche Explorer tool. Great tool, by the way. Okay? We added up all the dollars based on the estimates that it spits out, And this is with 99-cent books. She hasn't even done anything nuts or crazy or wild with her promotions. Actually, she should actually tap into our consulting and our process and our tools, but that's another topic for later on. You take a look at this, and if you add up all those dollars for 11 out of her 15 books, and we're talking about over $2,500 in passive royalties every single month. Now, what would you do with $2,500? Is that going to pay the mortgage for you? How about the car payment? How about the credit card bill? Maybe even all of the above. That's an awful lot of money from, children's ebooks. I mean, this is passive money. Rachel's not doing a whole lot in terms of promoting these books. We looked around. She's not doing much. She's relying on the free traffic that Amazon provides to you. But I did want to make it really, really clear. These are the bookends, right? You've got you've got James Patterson, Big Dog, obviously Jay Boyer, John Rhodes. You've got us. We're cranking these books out as well. So, on the high end, we're doing great. And then you've got Rachel, high school student, part-time. She's cranked out 15 children's books, $2,500, conservative estimate every single month. Okay? So what's the real secret here? I'm going to hit this real fast. I've already hinted at it. I just want to make sure that you understand that the real secret is all about outsourcing. You don't have to do all the work. In fact, it's very unlikely that you can do everything required to publish your book exactly the right way, especially a children's book that has a lot of images or photos or graphics in it, which many of them do. Not all, but virtually all of them do. Okay? The outsourcing money arc looks like this, and I'll show you the actual arc in a moment. What it amounts to is there's a 5-step process, and it really is this simple. Write these steps down. First of all, you need ideas. Write down your ideas. List them out. You can do it in a mind map. You can do it on paper. You can do it in a notepad file. Write down all your ideas. Okay, get them all written down, and you can sift them and sort them however you want and go after the very, very best ideas. But basically, you need to be an idea machine. And the question is do you have an idea for a children's book? In fact, I'm going to ask that right now real quick. Do you right now have an idea for a children's book? Just type in yes or no real fast. Do you have any ideas for children's books? We're going to give you more ideas. I promise that we will. Awesome. Thank you for lots and lots of yeses, some no's. There's some more no's, yes, and some, yeah. Awesome. Jay, you see this? It's insane, man. It's absolutely insane.
I've never seen the likes. We have never had so many people on the line here, by the way. This has really struck a chord, and thank you for your feedback. I've seen literally at least 100 yeses roll by when John asked that question.
But it's important. It's a critical question. You don't need to have an idea like right now. But you need to start that brainstorming process. And if you want to make money, it's all about the ideas. In terms of children's books, one of the best places, the best ways, the best parts of the process to make money, to guarantee that cash coming in, is by generating lots of ideas and then going after the best ones. Next, you need to put together a team. The team is going to do one of two things. They're either going to do graphics for you for your cover or internal, or they're going to be doing some content for you, writing, editing, proofing. Now, you can do any of those roles. Anything you want to do, you can do, but very likely you'll want someone else to do parts of it for you. Then once you've assembled the team or brought the team together, they're going to build for you. They're going to either create the illustrations, or they're going to create the cover, or write, or edit, or proof. Building, you have to actually put the content and get the images together. And then publishing. Now that you've built, right, now that you've built everything up, now you need to publish it. You need to get it on these devices. You need to get it into the Kindle store, and then you cash in. Now, let me ask you, I've already given you a hint, but when I say cash, by the way, I'm talking about passive royalties. Very important. The question is which two of these pieces matter the most in terms of the money arc? Which two pieces matter the most? Cash is really promotion. Think of cash as sales and marketing, and being in the right markets and in the right niche and so forth, and really basically selling your book and marketing it the right way. What are the two most important pieces of the money arc? It's the ideas you come up with, and if you can come up with good ideas, you can cash in. Basically, ideas plus marketing is where the money is at. You can get, remember, we're talking about outsourcing. You can get the team, you can put the team together, and Jay will show you. I promise Jay will show you exactly how he built his team, how it gets built, and the publishing occurs, okay? But this is about, people talk about turning ideas into cash. This is like being an inventor with words, painting the dream in the form of letters and words and characters and images and a great cover. This is turning your ideas into cash. Very, very cool. Okay, children's books, perfect for Kindle and self-publishers. Now, with all that being said, I hope you're excited. I hope you're really, really excited. We now know, and Jay, I'll turn it over in about 30 seconds. Let me just summarize by saying the following. First of all, the data clearly indicates that this is exploding. We know that Kindle's exploding. We know people are buying Kindle devices. We know that. And we know now that parents are buying content for their kids. We know that grandparents are out there buying these devices. They're also buying books, and they're loading those books onto these devices. So the data can't lie. The data's out there. You're in the right place at the right time. But not just any type of book, children's books. Because there's, for all the reasons that we talked about, you now know all the great reasons. The data tells the story, and you know the secret is really all about outsourcing. You're going to see Jay, he's going to talk about outsourcing in a moment, plus the idea generation and the marketing as well. You're going to see how he and his son put together a best-selling book, all the different pieces. This is where things get spicy hot. If you haven't been paying attention, you got to zero in right now. I'm turning things over to you, Jay. I'm going to mute myself here. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions I saw roll in. But I'm handing things over to you, Jay. Are you ready?
I am ready, sir.
It's floating over, folks. You're going to see Jay's screen in just a moment.
Right on. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see an 8-year-old boy on the screen? Awesome. Yeah, by the way, if you hear some ghostly voices behind me, I have some painters upstairs working on the house, so that's what it is. Okay, great. What you're looking at, who you're looking at, is my 8-year-old son, Joe. I love the guy. He's awesome, and this is the guy that actually wrote a best-selling book with. It was a children's book. I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about that in just a little bit. That's right. I'm doing it. Joe's doing it. Rachel's doing it. And I'm going to show you how you can do it too. There's literally no barrier to entry to this children's Kindle ebook marketplace, and they are by far the easiest books to write for Kindle. I'm going to show you exactly how we did it in just a couple minutes. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you are an 8-year-old boy like Joe, if you're a 16-year-old high school student from California like Rachel, or if you're an 84-year-old grandma even. You can do this, and I'm here to show you how. In fact, I want to head over, before I talk about and tell you exactly how I put this book together with Joe, I want to head over to Amazon. I was there this morning. I was doing a little bit of research for this presentation here today, and I just want to dispel any doubts or preconceived notions or anything that you may have right now as to why you might not be able to do this too, right? If I can do it, if Joe can do it, if Rachel can do it, you can do it. I'm going to head over to Amazon right now and show you how it works. Now let me do a couple of screen thingies here. Has everybody followed me over here to Amazon via my Firefox browser? If so, if you can type in yes. Thanks, everybody. Okay. So you may have seen this page before. If you have not seen this page before, this is the bestseller page for Amazon. And this is, sooner or later, this is either going to be your first stop or your last stop in your research, your very necessary research to finding not just these what's selling out there, but how they're positioned, what categories they're in, pricing strategies, etc. You can get all that information right here inside of the Kindle bestseller lists right now, okay? Let me show you, just right off the bat, I want to tell you there's going to be 3 major places that you're going to be directing your attention to here inside Kindle. There's three major branches of children's books here inside Kindle. Don't know if you know. You may know this one, children's ebooks, but there's also, if you click into fiction, there's a children's fiction book right here. I'm sorry, there's a children's fiction category, very large category, containing dozens and maybe even hundreds of subcategories in there. Let me head back over to the general page here. We clicked into fiction. Let's click into nonfiction. And once again, children's nonfiction. Go ahead and click into there. This is more how-to titles. This is more fun facts books, as I like to call them. And the big dog, the biggest list probably, and the most categories. By the way, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of categories and subcategories and subcategories inside of Kindle here for children's books. Between these three major branches that I'm just showing you here, let me click into Kindle eBooks. This is the largest one. This is where you'll find the most categories, and this is probably where most people go when they're browsing in Kindle for these children's ebooks. And that's exactly how people are going to find your book, by browsing it, probably with their son or daughter on a Kindle device or on a PC or on an iPad or even on a cell phone. Okay, this is how these sales are made, and people are going to find your book inside these bestseller categories. Don't worry, there are so many in here that it is really easy to do some category sniping, which is an advanced strategy that I teach in this course actually. You're going to be able to get onto a bestseller list, I guarantee. Okay? Let's just browse though. I was here this morning. I wanted this to be really current and up to date, and let's just scroll down the page here. You may notice Diary of a Wimpy Kid, #1, Jeff Kinney. He's kind of he's kind of a hero of mine, actually. He has taken this about as far as you possibly can. This idea of children's books, at least in this era, at least the modern children's publishing book era, which is all about Kindle now. Of course, this has been made into movies, it's been made into merchandise and lunchboxes and videos and cartoons. There's an entire industry surrounding this single book series, but it just started with a book that looked just like this. And by the way, who did you think, I saw lots of people got this right. When I asked you, what does that James Patterson book look like, what do you think his model was? Well, I'm 99.9% certain that he sort of patterned his book after the top-selling children's book author in the world right now, this guy right here, Jeff Kinney, in this particular book, which is about kids in middle school having a hard time, right? So let's just scroll down the page here. I want to look at some of these books. Now, this is a large category. This is one of the biggest categories in Kindle, children's ebooks. It's composed of all these subcategories, but this is like the top dog, big dog list, meaning that these people, if you show up on, a top 10, top 20 on this list, that's saying something. So, of course, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, #1, but look at this, #3. This is a book by Charlene Alexander, who's kind of she's kind of a monster. Not many people know about her, but she has so many books doing so well here inside of Kindle, and she's just like us. She's a self-published author. You may notice this is not the most professional-looking cover or title, but she's doing amazing, and she's got the #3 best-selling book inside of Kindle ebooks. I'm sorry, Kindle children's books, right? Let's scroll down a little bit more. Look at this book. #5 best-selling book is A.J. Cosmo's The Monster That Ate My Socks, a great book for 1st to 4th graders. I'm going to click into this book, okay? I'm going to use this as one of my case studies here today. Let's scroll down a little bit and have a look at something. 25 pages. 25 Kindle pages, by the way. This is not like a paperback book. These are Kindle pages. Number 223 on the bestseller list. This book is selling thousands every month, and it's making him lots more money. It would make him a little bit more money if it was priced at $2.99, but that's a different story. This is an amazingly popular book, and there's really nothing to it. Let me head over to my Kindle Reader device, and I bought it. Another great thing about doing all your research in Kindle is that it's super cheap to sort of buy a 99-cent book and page through it and see exactly what people are doing. So here it is. Here is the book. This is the number top 223 best-selling book in Kindle, making thousands of dollars with this book, 25 pages long. Let's look at it. I mean, the cover is nothing great. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that it's contributing to a success here, this big old monster on the cover. But again, it's not the most professional looking cover I've ever seen. I bet any one of us could do at least this good. That's my point, okay? Something was eating my socks. Okay, so something was eating my socks. There's another illustration. It's okay. There's not so many illustrations in this book, by the way. This is 25 pages, right? It's mostly about the premise. It's like monsters plus a clever premise, which is the boy keeps losing his socks and he's blaming it on the monster, and it turns out that it really was a monster eating his socks, but his mom doesn't believe him. Okay? This is the book. There's image number 3. You can see just a little bit of text, image number 4, and these images are fine, right? There's nothing wrong with these images. Eric says really poor writing too. It's not the best. My point is, you know what? If this book, I wish this was my book. I wish I could call this my book. This is an amazingly popular book. It's making this author lots and lots of money. But if this book is number 223 bestseller in the Kindle marketplace, you can do at least as good as this one. Okay? There's only 7 images in this book, by the way. That's crazy. Let me head back over to Kindle. All right? Let's do a little bit more research. Are you beginning to see that maybe this is something that you don't have to be a professional author. You don't have to be James Patterson to succeed inside of this children's ebook niche. Yeah? Okay, great. Let's keep up with our research here. I was here this morning. I bought a bunch of these books on the bestseller list. I'm here in the Baby to 3, which is a very popular book. These are really easy. This is probably the easiest books to write. Some of the easiest books to write. It's kind of a cross-section of this demographic here, Baby to 3. It's very nice of Amazon to even include this category here. These are so, and of course we're writing for a very young audience, meaning these are going to be largely image-based, which means what, right? Books that are mostly images are blank. Finish that sentence, please. Yeah, Mike got it right. Less text to write. Yep, they're fast, they're easy, they're outsourced, and it means like you don't really have to write. You don't have to write the great American novel, and we're certainly not going to be writing, a Caldecott award-winning book, but we don't have to. We're going to give our audience exactly what they want, and we are going to write high-quality books. Let me show you what's selling here inside of Baby to 3. Okay, let's just scroll down the page. You may notice a couple Christmas books, right? This is topical. If you publish a book a Christmas-related book, a holiday-related book, a birthday book, that's going to be an evergreen book. I guarantee that these will be here next year too. Like this one, 12 Days of Christmas. Number 8 on this bestseller list. Let me click into it here. Let's get a little bit more information. Let's see what Amazon wants us to know and see about this book. Scroll down a little bit. It turns out this is just a picture book. Look at this. Okay, it's number 5,000 on the bestseller list, meaning this book is selling about, I'd say, 400 to 500 copies every month. And it's only, I'll show you what's inside. Believe it or not, let me head back over to my library. 12 Days of Christmas. I just picked this up this morning. Chris says, if you can think through a kid's mind, this is huge. It's exactly why I wrote my book with my son, John, Chris. Kids are an amazing source of research. It's an amazing source of, like, what's funny? Just run it by a kid, right? What's on their brain? What's topical? What's trendy? What video games are they playing? Ask a kid. Great point, Chris. So let's look at this one. This is the #1 best-selling book, The 12 Days of Christmas. And look what it is, okay? It's how many pages do you think are in this book on the 12th day of Christmas? Number 1, number 2, number 3. This is simply the song, the lyrics of the song accompanied by an image and a number. This is a counting book, okay? 5, 6. It's a holiday book. They've got animals. Can you see how formulaic these books actually are? Yeah, absolutely. Can you see that you don't even have to write a book? This is sourced from a traditional song, 12 Days of Christmas, and they just connected a cool image, a cool, fun image, And that's it. This is a 12-page book. It's the number 8 best-selling book in this particular category of Amazon. That's amazing. Well, it's not amazing to me. I know that this is easy to do, and you can do this exact same thing too. Take a page out of Bridget here. Take a page out of her ebook, so to speak. All right. By the way, I talked about formula here. Can you see how formulaic these books are? I mean, we're talking about a holiday here, even more evergreen. Let me show you a tool that I created, and I made a little bit fancier for this presentation here so that you can see it. I call this a book-storming idea wizard. And we were talking about formula. Well, this has all of the elements of almost every children's book out there. Characters, learnings, concepts, genres, themes, styles, formats. I think holidays is in here, right? So a holiday, pick a holiday and add a number book, a numbers or counting book to it. Right? That's all that this book is, and then add an image to it. Is this awesome? Right. Let me head back over to Amazon. I'll be referring to this tool a little bit more just to show you, just to reinforce the idea that these are completely formulaic. You can do this. Okay. Let me scoot on back over to this 0 to 3 category. Again, I'm in the children's ebooks baby through 3 category. We just looked at 12 Days of Christmas. Let's look at this one, the number 7 book. If you have a hat, a silly rhyming children's picture book. Very good title, completely self-descriptive, and this is a really good image here. And that's all that these book covers need to be. If you already have the images that you're creating for the book, use it for the book cover. That's all that you need to do. That's all that Gerald did. Gerald's another one of these sort of underground, Kindle success stories here inside of the ebook, the children's ebook marketplace. Let me click in here. Scroll down. Is this of use to you guys? Can you see that there's no mystery to writing these books? Yeah, good. 38 pages. 38 pages for this book. And it's number 4,647. Gerald's selling about 500 probably every month of this book at $2.99. This is another 4-figure book. This is another $1,000 income stream for Gerald. Okay? And let's have a look at what's inside this book. Head back over to my library. I purchased it this morning so that we could look at it here. Wait, well, I'm just, oh, the cat's out of the bag. Oh, this is going to be the big reveal. All right, here I'm scrolling. I'm not used to reading a book. I have a couple Kindles, but I'm not used to doing this on my PC. So anyway, so here is the book, right? If You Have a Hat by Gerald Hawksley. If you have a hat, put it on your head. These are cute images. These are great images, by the way, but they're not difficult to reproduce or outsource. I'll be talking a little bit more about that later, okay? If you have a bed bug, tuck him into bed. Now, these are fun. I mean, I love it. This is sort of whimsical and really sweet, but that's the image. That's the image. If you have a seed, help it grow into a flower. This is as simple a book gets here inside of Kindle. Okay, image plus, one line. It's rhyming here. These rhymes are really nice. If you had some bricks, build yourself a tower. If you had a Band-Aid, stick it on your knee. If you had a ship, sail it out to sea. Is this awesome or what? Are you getting excited? Do you think you can do this? Does anybody here think that they can create a book like this? Hands up. Put your virtual hands up. Yes, no, totally, maybe so. Of course you can. And you can have it selling $1,000 worth every month for you, just like Gerald, okay? It's just a numbers game, gang. That's all I want to say. It's just a numbers game. All right, so we'll look at a couple more books, and then I'm going to show you how I put my bestseller together with Joe. We're going to be talking a little bit about outsourcing because I've seen so many questions about outsourcing roll in already. Okay, look, here's another book by Gerald. Gerald is really, really cool. Gerald's another one of these guys, like Charlene, like Rachel, that we talked about, a self-published author just like you and me, having fantastic success here with these very simple children's books inside of Kindle. We click into this book. I don't think there's that much more to this one than there was the other. Right, it's 30 pages, and it's number 3,800 best-selling book in Kindle store at $2.99, meaning he's getting 70% royalties. So about $2 for every book that he's selling goes right into Gerald's pocket, and he's selling, I can tell you, at least 500 every month, 400 or 500 every month, not including borrows. Yeah, yeah. Laura says, wow, exactly, wow. I think I bought this book. Let me have a look. Oh my gosh, there's another rhyme. It's rhyme time. Okay, Silly Monsters, ABC. All right, here's this book. Very similar. Silly Monsters. Monsters are hot, by the way. We were talking about characters. Monsters are hot. A is for the amblemoose, who ambles aimlessly. B is for the buzzle snout, who buzzes like a bee. Now this reminds me kind of like of Dr. Seuss. These are nonsensical, made-up monsters and words. It doesn't get much more fun than this, but you know what? This is really, really easy. This is really cool, and I'm not surprised that this is a best-selling book, but you know what? You can do the exact same thing. Let's head back over and we were talking about formula. What are some of the elements that are going into this book? This is quiz time, everybody. What are some of the elements, some formula elements going into this book? Is it a counting book? Is it a letter book? Is it what sort of characters, images, graphics, letter book? Yep, it is a letter book. Certainly, demographically speaking, it's 0 through 3. This is a young children's book. My 8-year-old Joe wouldn't be caught dead reading this book, but he would have loved it a couple years ago. Imaginary monsters, right? Certain characters coming up over and over and over again. This is the second monster book we've looked at here. Yeah, exactly. Let's head back over to this this idea wizard here. And you can find monsters in here. I've got animals loaded up for you here. I've got fantasy characters. There's monsters right there. But it could have been a unicorn, right? Or a dragon. Plus concepts. This is a learning book, specifically a counting book. The other one was a letter book, right? Learn how to count, flashcards, arithmetic. This is what I mean. I designed this to help you brainstorm. This is what I use for my books because it's so formulaic. These books are nothing but formula. That's all that they are. This plus this plus this. Monsters plus learning how to count. You guys get it? Plus cool images. Is this exciting to anybody other than me? Okay, great. All right, I'm going to look at one more book here, and then I'm going to show you how I wrote mine with Joe. Okay, let me head back over to the bestseller list here. Is this fun? I love talking about this stuff. I could talk about this stuff all day long. Okay, number 2. Here's our friend Rachel Yu. Hey, Rachel, how are you? Let me click into, I start talking like a children's book after a while. If you've ever sat down and written a children's book, you start talking like a children's book. It's kind of fun. This is why you're able to do it with kids too. The Magical Dragon's 3 Gifts. Okay, so formula. Already we've identified one element here, which is a dragon. Okay, he also has a little friend. It's like a boy-shaped bear cub. And then the 3 gifts is kind of like a fairy tale here, I would say. Let me scroll down the page a little bit. Rachel, ugh. You're killing me. You're only selling this book for 99 cents too. It's 1,500 on the bestseller list, and it's only 27 pages, by the way. I'll show you what it looks like inside my Kindle reader, my desktop Kindle reader. Click into it here. All right. Okay. Rachel, I don't know if Rachel's illustrating this herself or what, or if she's outsourcing it like I do. But if she is, she's a pretty good illustrator. But I've seen several books with different illustration styles. She's been part of my research, and all these authors that I've been telling you about are part of my research. And you know, you're the beneficiary of all that, especially inside of this course that we're about to tell you more about here today. This is a completely different illustration style than some of our other books. So I would think that she's outsourcing these images. But this is what I would call a micro-chapter book. It's just an image plus a little blurb, okay? And this is telling a story. There's a narrative here in a cozy cabin not too far from the river, live 2 bears, blah, blah, blah. Bear walks away, he goes down to the river, he meets a dragon somewhere. There's the dragon, right? 27 pages. It's just an image plus some text. Image plus text. Image plus text. I would say there's no more than 1,000 words total in this book. Think you can do this? Do you think you can do something similar to this? Do you think you can have the same success that I've had, that Rachel has had, that these other authors? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let me head back over to Amazon, and I want to show you what I did. And by the way, here's the case study book. Let me show you our case study book here. And by doing so, I'm going to back out of here, and let me check out one category that I know I'm going to find it in here. So I approached Joe, or actually I think Joe approached me. It was bedtime. This is the story of where the fart book came around. That's our case study book. I know it's weird, it's gross, total 8th grade kid stuff, right? But they love it. Remember I said ask kids what they want. This is what he wanted. So I asked him, I said, okay, so what do you want to write about? We were sitting in bed in our PJs, and he said, Papa, can we write a book together? I said, yeah, what do you want to write about? He said, I don't know, I just want it to be funny. I said, oh, okay, well, let's head over to Amazon and see what kind of funny books people are already buying, right? This is like market research for 8-year-olds. So I'm going to click into children's ebooks, and of course, there's a humor category. He said he wanted a funny book. Let's see what sort of books are already selling inside of Amazon. Okay? Laugh out loud joke books. Joke books are huge, by the way. We've been talking about, all sorts of different types of books here today, but there's so many different formats as well. You'll find joke books here, right in here, jokes, limericks, diary, comic book, etc. It's all in that. It's all loaded up for you inside that idea wizard. There's the book, by the way. Here is my book. It's number 3 inside this humor category, which we targeted right off the bat. We sort of reverse engineered this book, but of course it wasn't there when we were just doing this 2-minute research, and that's as long as it took, by the way, 2 minutes. We headed over here. He said, I want to write a funny book. I said, let's go find what's selling first. That is so important. That's what you need to do. You need to find what's selling. That's why this has to be your first stop, is the children's bestseller categories. See what kids are already buying. Don't guess at it. Don't waste any time. Don't waste any money. See what kids are already buying. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Yep, this was up here. I think this was number 1 or number 2. At the top of this category, when we wrote the book earlier this year, it's a book called Sweet Farts, which sounds kind of gross to me. It sounds grosser than the fart book, if you ask me. But in any case, I said, okay, and that kind of caught Joe's attention too. He said, oh, Papa, can we get that fart book? I was like, you want to get that? All right, let's get it. So I bought it for him. It's pretty good, actually. What else did I notice? I noticed some books that look like some other books that we were talking about, like this Big Nate. Does this cover remind you of any other book that we've already looked at today? ... What about this one, Super Zombie Juice Mega Bomb? Does this cover look like any other book that we've looked at today in our travels here at Amazon? Yeah, you got it. You got it, Mike. It looks like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They're doing the exact same thing. People came over here. They was like, I'm going to write a book. I need a template for my book cover, and they sort of spun off that Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I did for my book as well, by the way. And so I was over here. I was like, oh, okay. Well, there's another fart book. Great. Okay. So then I turned to Joe and I said, Joe, what do you think about writing a fart book? He said, yeah, that's awesome. Let's write a fart book, Papa. So that's what we did. We sat down and we actually mapped it out in bed. We did our 2 minutes of research, and then I pulled up a laptop and I said, all right, let's map this out right now. I call this book mapping. Okay, it's all in. We'll tell you more about it in a little bit here. Book mapping, right, which is simply comprised of writing out the major ideas or chapters or scenes from a book or pages, or they call it storyboarding. If you've ever been involved in video production, they call it storyboarding. But it's basically just laying out, page 1, this is what's going to happen, or chapter 1, this is what's going to happen, and that's what we did. We decided to write like 24. We actually came up with 28 sort of different types of fart situations: the sputter, the scream, the rocket ship, stuff like that. I'll spare you the gory details, but this is what boys want, okay? This is straight out of the mind of an 8-year-old, and it's just like we said, we're giving people exactly what they want. And how did I know it? It's because I had Joe there to tell me. So we brainstormed these categories here, okay? And then I said, that's awesome. We need to find some cool illustrations. He said, yeah, let's find some illustrations. I didn't want to do it. Joe could have done it, but I didn't want to wait, 8 weeks for him to come up with all these illustrations. So what I did was I headed over to a place called Fiverr. If you've ever been to Fiverr, this is one of my favorite places in the whole world. And I spent a lot of time here finding cheap outsourcing. And in this case, finding cheap illustrators for my children's ebooks. You can look specifically for in the sidebar here, there's graphics and design, and look at this, there's illustration, there's ebook covers and packages. Let me click into illustration really quick, and it will take us to, the Fiverr server is notoriously, it's fast today. Okay, I usually sort by rating because I don't want to get people who are not well rated by other people. Look at some of these illustrators here. Now the thing is, look at this, wizards and princesses and princes. This is sort of a really interesting style. I've noticed this person before, but I haven't used them. You can find almost any type or style of illustration by these cool artists here in Fiverr, and it will only cost you $5 a piece. Now, I purchased one for each one of those chapters. It cost me about $100, okay, which is a bargain. But you don't have to purchase 24 of them. All you need is 7 images or so, just like the what was it? It was the what was that book? It was the the Monster Ate My Socks. That only had 7 illustrations in it. This is how you get a killer illustrator for your book. It's so easy. Don't do it yourself unless if you can do it yourself, go right ahead. But I like to move a little bit faster. I like to get these books a little bit faster to market, see if they're going to work, see if they sell. If they are, I spin them off into other series. I have more fart books coming up this year, you may notice, by the way. If they don't, then you know what? It's not that much. It only took me 7 days to write this story with Joe, and that's exactly how easy it is. And speaking of writing, let me show you what the writing was. The writing, by the way, was no more, it was like 4,000 words. Yeah, 4,700 words. That's kind of long for a children's book. That's longer than I typically do. But these are some of the illustrations that illustrator came up with. They're awesome. And they kind of look like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I told him, this is what I'm going for. Can you do something similar? And he did an awesome job. Right? Here's all of our titles, here is our illustration, and here is our little blurb. This is another micro chapter book, and it's no more than 100 to 150 words. It took Joe and I, 5 bedtimes to write this entire book. You can do the same, and you don't have to write it this long. I showed you how quick and easy some of these books are. This is a longish book for Kindle children's books. So that is how this comes together. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you can see at this point exactly how easy, how formulaic, how easy it is to outsource, how you can find your images. You can even outsource the writing as well, which I did for the sequel for this book called The Booger Book. Okay, I found out that farts were actually funnier than boogers. My fart book sells about 4 or 5 times more than the Booger Book, but this is what I'm talking about. You get it out there, you start testing, see what's working, and then spin it off. And then when you got a hit, keep going with it. That's exactly the strategy that I use. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about it in a bit. But I'm going to send it back over to John at this point, and we are going to bring it on home here. John, are you there, buddy?
I am, Jay. Let me just bring up my screen here. I've been answering, as you can imagine, I've been answering an awful lot of questions that have come in. Great questions that have come in, and I have not answered them all. I've been answering the best that I can. One thing I want to answer immediately, though, Jay, is, hey, what about these illustrations and these images and having someone else do them? Look, you don't have to give much direction. These folks, in many cases, are very creative. You just say, look, this is what I want in general, and you'd be shocked, totally, absolutely shocked at the quality of the content and the images and graphics and illustrations that come back. Really, really cool stuff. So the big question is, the response here has been overwhelming. Jay and I did not expect this level of enthusiasm, but I got to tell you, it's fun. This is lucrative. This is really, really fun stuff. I want to share that. The question for you, a very direct question, is do you want to create your own children's book right now? Do you want help doing that? And the screen is scrolling. Yes, yes, yes. I do want to put something in perspective here. Before I talk more about the children's book formula, I do want to make sure you understand something. This is about the numbers and, again, the data and the money and what it really means for you. I mean, how well can you do? Again, this is about you. This workshop is all about you and what Jay and I can do to help you get to where you want to go. How well can you do with a children's book that only took 7 days to write and that was written with an 8-year-old boy? So you saw Jay's book. He went through it. He showed you exactly what it took to put together, how to outline it, where and when to spend the time. Well, look at this. That book, okay, the Fart book, and I even have a hard time saying that, Fart book, #1 bestseller, children's book on manners, okay? #1 best-selling author, not just a top seller or a good seller, #1 bestseller, okay?
It's actually the anti-manners book, to tell you
It
the
is
truth.
the anti. It really is. It certainly doesn't teach manners at all, right? But it's just a lot of fun. It's a good family fun type of thing. Well, at least son and son and father. Here's another thing. Right? We talk about that specific niche, that category, really narrowing down, but really if you even take a step back and just look at children's ebooks #2. Now this is huge, humor, right? Children's ebooks, humor category. So we're talking way, way, way up the food chain in terms of the size of the category. This is a huge category, #2. Not quite #1, but still, #2 is extremely impressive. What does this translate? Now, Jay, of course, uses a system. We use a formula. Our students use the formula to make it happen. So being #1 is cool. Being #2 in this monster category is cool. What's it mean in terms of money? We talked about money, right? Bestseller is cool. What kind of royalties are we talking about here? Well, this single book, now remember, we've published hundreds of books. This single book has generated over $1,200, okay, just in November. Sales are growing every single month. Now you take the net units sold and the units borrowed and what Kindle is paying with their lending library funds and so forth, you're talking $1,200. So, in the case of Rachel, it takes Rachel 15 books to make the $2,500. Jay, 1 book, $1,200. So you can see the difference that a formula makes in terms of maximizing royalties and cash coming in. Okay? So how do you get started? Well, introducing the children's book formula. If you want to work with us, this is exactly how you do it. If you want a complete and proven system, a formula that's going to work for you, and you want to make more money and have a good time, this is exactly how you do it. Now, this has taken 2 years of trial and error, right? We spent a lot of time on this. We've been living and breathing it. We've been holding back until we really perfected it. Okay, this is direct experience. We've got software that goes along with it. You also saw some of the tools that we use in the business. Passive royalties, here we come. Now, you get access. You get immediate access to everything here. Video training system, first and foremost. 38 videos, and these are not like hour-long videos. It's not going to take an awful lot of time to get through these 38 videos. They are very, very specific, very tactical, very hands-on for you. You've got the book mining, you've got the book mapping, and the book storming tools at your disposal. What does it really amount to? Find the right niches, the right markets, right? We talked about the ideas. The ideas, that's book mining. Finding the right books. What should you write? Creating those books, mapping them out. Jay gave you a hint at that, really. He showed you how he does that, and also book storming. How do you sell? How do you market? How do you make money from your book? Now, in addition, image finding secrets. High quality, low cost. Fiverr and beyond. How about a writing system and easy formatting? We provide that to you as well. Hands-free outsourcing. Nothing like the EasyO guide. The Easy Outsourcing Guide, you get your hands on that as well. And you also get access to the #1 children's bestseller case study. Okay, Jay takes you through that. Again, 38 videos you get access to immediately, easily worth $500. If you were getting this training from us directly, it'd be thousands of dollars in terms of our time and our effort. Next, you get audio training and PDFs, 38 audio training. So we took out all the MP3s. Great for you in the car or on the treadmill or whatever you're doing, right? Put it on your iPod, on your iPad, listen to it on your computer. You also get 7 PDF guides. These are step-by-step. Jay and I are visual learners. We make sure that you can look over our shoulders, see the screen. You get the screen captures. You get everything you need there. 7 reasons to love children's ebooks. We cover some more material than we covered today. The case study, #1 bestseller. How to use KDP Select. Amazon Author Central. Advanced Kindle formatting guide. You got to format that book the right way. How to write the perfect book description. You got to have a great description. And then Book Promotion 101. So you get those guides. You get access to those again immediately. Again, $400 value there. Easily worth that amount in terms of the audio trainings and those guides. We also just added done-for-you outsourcing bonuses. We realized just how important outsourcing is and the related templates and formulas that we use specifically for outsourcing. So Fiverr and Odesk specifically, these are cut and paste templates that you can use. How to find an amazing $5 illustrator. Now, obviously that relates to Fiverr, but really there's more to the story than what we were able to go into today. Just too much material. Okay? How to find a 1-penny book writer. You can find people that will write books for you for very, very little money. So if you don't want to write and you don't want to draw, you can be pretty much completely hands-off if you want to do that. Or one or the other. If you want to just draw and have someone write, great, or vice versa. How to outsource the entire business. You're going to learn exactly how to be a person who owns a business. Maybe you don't want to write children's books. Maybe you're just opportunistic. Have someone else do all the work or have other people do the work. You just collect the money. Again, another $300 of true value here because you're getting our tools, you're getting our templates, you're getting the system. Kitchen sink and toolbox. Look, this is webinar only. We're like, okay, what else do we need to add here to make this a complete and total no-brainer? You're going to get Word Crusher. There's our push-button ebook formatting software. Kindle, actually, and paperback book manuscript formatting. We'll talk more about that if you want us to talk about it. You've probably heard of it. Next, the Idea Wizard and Brainstorming Guide. You saw Jay's mind map. There's more to the story as well to that. You get that mind map and you get a bunch of other material as well. Remember, ideas equal money. You get access to that. Jay also mentioned the Kindle Category Sniper. Picking the right category, exactly the right category for your book, means you can be picking the category that will lead to a bestseller. You get access to that. Cut and paste quick start book templates. We've given you material. You took notes. This is great. But we want to just hand you the actual templates that we use in our business. Done for you silver platter research. We've done the research. Let me put it this way. There are too many ideas for Jay and I. We can't do it all. We have so many ideas. We're going to hand you the best ideas. We're going to hand them over because we can't publish all these books, doing them as fast as we can, but we still have more to spare. 200 children's book blogs plus blog tours. So we're going to give you access to children's book blogs, and we're going to give you access to exactly how to go on a blog tour. Authors Advantage time management software. We know that authors need to manage their time. We're going to give you software to help you do that. Again, another $400 value. Crazy. This is everything you could possibly need. It is a formula that we have put together, and all the pieces, we brought it all together for you. Total value, easily $1,500. Easily $1,500. Now, if this was our time, literally you'd be forking out $8,000 to $10,000 to get us to help you with this and do it hands-on with you. This is the next best thing. You're getting videos, PDFs, training, 91% off. We've never slashed our prices. I feel cheap. That's bad, but the value is crazy. This is ridiculously affordable. There's no other way to put it. 91% off. You will not pay anything even close to $1,500. We've never offered this much value for this price. Insane. Okay. So fast action gets you in. 91% off. childrensbookformula.com/go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that in for you. I'll drop it right there in the Q&A box. We'll make sure. It looks like Jay did as well. I'm going to drop it in. Well, there's a little bit more here. Okay? We're going to give you one more bonus on top. We know that perhaps what you want is your own additional asset. You want a place to showcase your book, a place that you can actually point people to, not Amazon, but your own real estate, your own website. What we've got is the Children's Book WordPress theme. This theme is specifically designed for authors and is ideal for children's book authors. We're going to give you a WordPress theme that is just absolutely stunning. Really, really good. So you're like, hey, I want to set up a website. I know blogs are kind of cool. Well, we make it really, really easy for you with this children's book WordPress theme. Easily worth $100 as well. You know how expensive themes can be, the ones that are really, really rock. This is perfect. We've got people using this. It is very, very hot. Again, fast action bonus because you're here today. 30-day ironclad, 100% money back, satisfaction guarantee. Get in, use it, get that book published, get those books published, market, make money, have a good time, turn ideas into cash. You got 30 days to do it. Of course, we recommend that you do it in 7 days. 7 days of action. In fact, we recommend you do it over the weekend. Get going and even publish. Strive to publish in the weekend if you can. Certainly the first 7 days, but you got 30 days. So there it is, childrensbookformula.com/go. That's exactly how to take action. Okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward here. How to invest today and members area tour. Okay, how to invest today and the members area tour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the sales page. I just want to make sure it's super clear. I'm really big on clarity. I'm really big on making sure things are just super, super clear. So if you give me a moment, what I'll do is I'll show you exactly what that sales page looks like. It's an information page and sales page. You know what the offer is. You know what's on the table. Let me show you exactly what it looks like and make a couple of quick points. Please let me know when it shows up on the screen for you. When there's a web page that'll pop up in just a moment. Please do let me know when you can see it. Do you see that? Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. So children's book formula. And here we go. Credit card or PayPal. One-time payment. Okay, the price we've reduced as low as we possibly can go. It's a one-time payment, right? We're giving away like I said, kitchen sink, the toolbox, the shirt off our back. We're giving you everything you could possibly need to get your own children's book put together, to write it all yourself, to get the illustrations put together, and get that thing published. Again, credit card or PayPal acceptable. There's just a little drop down there. One-time payment, no upsell, no cross-sell. Right? There's nothing. This is it. You make this investment. This is everything you need to get that children's book out there. Okay? Really, really simple stuff. And Jay, I'm going to turn things over to you. I'm going to take a look at the questions that have come in. But I'm going to turn things over to you, Jay. Folks, I want to show you the insanity. And the best way to show you the insanity is to turn it over to Jay and have Jay actually show you on the screen what's inside the membership area. It really is staggering. But what I will say, and Jay, while you're getting set up there in the last 30 seconds or so, I want to say this. There's an enormous amount of material there, but you get to pick and choose exactly what's right for you. You can, learn all about Fiverr. You can learn about, the templates, the outsourcing templates. You can follow along over Jay's shoulder as he goes through his bestseller material. You can look at anything, the PDFs. You can go through the PDFs. You can watch the videos. Whatever it is that's best for you, you pick and choose. But you can see there, video training, audio, PDF. So you pick your modality. There's the tools and the templates. We've got the software available, all the bonuses, and beyond. So Jay, I can see the screen there now, and I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, if you haven't heard too much from me lately in the Apex Authors Facebook group or otherwise, more on that in a little bit, there's a good reason. It's because I have been devoting myself to putting this together, putting this enormous package together. We typically over-deliver. Anybody who's a customer of ours knows that we always over-deliver. But you know what? I've never put together anything like this in terms of content and the types of tools that I wanted to include and the different formats. I keep my ear to the ground a lot, and people say, hey, you know what, I want MP3s. I want to be able to take this on the road and load it up in my iPod because I want to learn while on my commute to work on the train or something like that. That's why we've included everything that you see, all the videos. As John mentioned, there's 38 videos. All of those videos have been converted into audio MP3 training. So however you like to learn. Lots of people like to learn from PDFs, and I've been getting so many requests. I just saw a couple roll in. Are there hard copies of all this training? Almost all of it you're going to find in PDF form so that you can actually read it. Whether you're like me and you just go ahead and jump in and download all the PDFs first before you watch the video training, you can do it. You can do it either way. I've got, I think, 9 PDFs loaded up for you here, and I think I did that because I like to learn that way. So we've taken the time, we spent the money to convert all this to text format if that's how you like to learn. Let's head into the video training though. Let me resize my window here, and I'm just going to give you a quick tour of what you're going to find in here. I haven't even talked about tools and templates. That Bookstamming Idea Wizard is amazing, by the way. We're going to get to that. Before I jump into the training, I want you to know that when you get in here today, there's one thing that you could do, one thing that you should do before anything else, and that's head over to the Bonuses tab. You may have heard me say charging me like 30 cents per.
We've laid it out. The process is clear. We've given you all different ways to consume and interact with the content.